What's up, nerds? Welcome back to Nerd Alert. I'm Brandon. I got Jimmy and James with me, and welcome back to another edition of Throwdown Thursday. This is one that we did in a previous life over at Nerd Locker, but I think the popularity for both characters have only grown since then, and one character has definitely changed a lot as far as how they're viewed, at least in that time frame. But this week it would be Green Lantern, Hal Jordan versus Magneto.
Oh.
And I think the reason I wanted to do this one again is because he has become so much more, Magneto has become so much more of an anti-hero as time has gone on, just with the things that that character has gone through in their life. And when we did this originally, I think we just did it because Hal Jordan can manipulate things with willpower, but like, who has a stronger willpower than Magneto?
I want to start by saying I do not think these guys end up at a bar drinking together at the end.
No. This is one where they do that. They might like respect each other at the end and walk away, but they are not. Yes,
had at the end, but not like we're hanging out, dude.
No, these two will never hang out for any reason.
This is hard for me because it's like Magneto requires metal for anything to work, but he's also been shown to do some terrifying shit, like, I don't know, ripping iron out of people's blood. But then Hal is Hal, and therefore can, as long as he can imagine it, he can do it. He just has to have the ring on. So it's like, it really depends on how bloodthirsty either of these two are.
What I also like is they have both been good guys and bad guys.
Yeah.
And not in the same arc. Like, obviously, Green Lantern started as the hero, has been a bad guy, and is now back to Green Lantern as far as I know.
Yeah.
And we have Magneto, who justified, in my opinion, but bad guy, good guy. I honestly don't know where he stands nowadays in the comics, but
I mean, more of the anti-hero in the sense that, like, if he does things, I mean, he was more of a hero with the whole Krakoa stuff.
Yeah.
And currently he is like running the newest branch of X-Men since post Krakoa. But
which he's led the X-Men before, so it's interesting that
he's definitely come around though more as a sympathetic character than he was when, you know, at least Jimmy and I were into comics in our, you know, like teen years. He was
the movies then too. He was
100%.
Yeah. It wasn't until Days of Future Past where it really showed no, they're on the same team because they're both trying to accomplish the same thing, just different ways.
And it's if you haven't heard me say this, I say it a lot. Magneto was right. Right.
Yes. I mean, that's one of the main things in the comics as they talk about Magneto being right. But yeah, I mean, I really thought that, like, given how
it's a good one,
things have changed, I don't know who I'd come up with this. I mean, because even when you look at like certain things, like Magneto's now at the point that he can pull like the mineral of like out of stone, like he can find traces of metal that he can manipulate and things like that.
And I got to go with, and I can't remember what other example we did this one. It just came down to, I'm going to go who I like more as far as reading enjoyment, and it's Magneto. I'm not saying necessarily I think he would kick his ass, but I enjoy Magneto's character more as the X-Men, and I just like the X-Men more than the Green Lantern Corps. So I got to go with Magneto. It's not that I think Green Lantern sucks or Hal Jordan sucks. I just like Magneto more.
I'm in a similar boat. It's I feel like it just truly depends on who is bloodthirstier, or like where we're going from based on how willing they are to fight. Because if Hal's going in for the kill, boom, easy. If Magneto's going in for the kill, boom, easy. They might just end up killing each other at the same time because it just depends on what they do first move. But I feel like if they're not trying to kill each other, but they are trying to win, Magneto's going to get the upper hand pretty quick, given that he basically holds the entirety of Hal's bloodstream in his hands.
That's a very good point. You know what else cool, like kind of talking about this though, is with this when we do have Marvel versus DC for these, is we are coming to another crossover soon. And I'm hoping that we really get some cool stories from some cool writers with like matchups that we didn't see back in the day. Because to like show you the popularity of the last one of the fights was Ben Reilly Spider-Man versus Superboy, where it's like I feel like they had just popular characters that they weren't sure who to match up with. And now with
Let's
the
find the
movies,
clones.
yeah, exactly. They were you two figure it out.
But Ben Reilly is better.
Anyways, I fucking walked right into that one, man. I shouldn't have said anything. Anyways,
So Brandon, who do you think?
I want to go with Hal just because, like, if we're looking at like the current Hal Jordan, like his ring is now he made his ring out of willpower. He doesn't have, it's not connected to the battery, it's not connected to the Guardians. Like he is in control of it because he forged it out of like pure will. And I think it does come down to what James is saying too, with like who would want it more or who was fighting for more in that moment. But I'll just say how to be on the other side of you guys, because I also think it would be. I agree with you that like they might fight to a standstill, but they will not be high-fiving after it. It would be an emotional. It would be an emotional battle, and at the end they might respect each other, but there is no reason they are gonna call each other for anything at any reason.
I'm glad you brought that up about the new origins of the ring, because I was sitting here thinking about it more. I'm like, oh, dude, Magneto just crushes the
ring,
or the ring crushed it. And because my experience with Green Lantern is the 80s with Hal Jordan, and then Kyle Radner, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So I did not know the new origin. I'm like, okay, now we're back to, yeah, they're pretty even. But I was really thinking about like, dude, he's got to charge it with that stupid lantern. No.
So okay, going to the side of getting a beer afterwards or whatever, does your opinion on the fight or the aftermath change if it's Magneto versus Sinestro?
Ooh. Magneto would like curb stomp Sinestro, because
I don't know, man. Sinestro becomes dictator of his planet with the ring.
But Magneto has morals. Magneto,
that's the problem. Yes.
Damn. All right. Good call.
But that's where Sinestro doesn't have morals, so he would just do whatever it took.
But that's true. But Magneto doesn't want to die.
I don't know.
But neither does Sinestro, man. Like,
I'm not saying Magneto doesn't want to die.
Does Sinestro have metal in his blood?
I mean, I don't know. Alien. I don't know.
Just put a yellow shield around himself and be like, "You don't get into this blood."
Metal nearby.
He's like,
on that note, I don't remember ever seeing something in an X-Men movie, other than with Charles or earlier on, where Magneto was just hanging out.
Also true. He's never just around.
I know. I mean, he was on the plane in Days of Future Past, and that was a fight. He did not want to be there. There are the scenes where he was younger with Charles, even in the comic books, and they were at cafes and stuff talking about the future. But I cannot remember off the top of my head Brotherhood of Evil Mutants or whatever, where Magneto's like, "Hey guys,
so dudes,
is
just popping through, just saying what's up.
Yeah. What's up, fellow kids?
Thanks for coming out."
Exactly.
Thanks for coming out.
And I get it. If my family had to deal with concentration camps and was put through that torture, I would not want to be hanging out. So I get it. But I'm just saying, I've never seen it that I can think of.
I honestly feel like there'd get a point between Hal and Magneto where they both yell at each other, "Why aren't you dead yet?"
Yeah, like they're both just super frustrated.
I could go all day.
Inability for the other one to have no quit in them.
Yeah.
Stop trying not to die.
That is true.
Well,
if I remember correctly, the only time Magneto really got his ass kicked was when Xavier wiped his brain on the fight on Asteroid M, after he took the adamantium out of Wolverine. Am I misremembering this?
No, that's correct.
No,
like he was done.
I mean, I'm sure he's gotten his ass. I'm sure he's gotten his ass kicked before, but like, yeah, I mean,
that led into the Joseph storyline, right?
And Onslaught, but yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, where Joseph showed up, and they're like, "Who is this guy? He's got no memory, but he's got powers of Magneto." I don't remember anybody else really destroying him, and Hal does not have that power. So
Did Apocalypse ever do anything?
Did what?
Apocalypse? Did he ever whoop Magneto's ass?
I mean, I'm sure he's been whooped before, but
after Age of Apocalypse, no. Magneto finally won.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like most times Magneto always like gets away to fight another day. Like it's never like we officially stopped him type thing.
Yes, you could argue
No
the humans, just us little dumbass people, finally won because Days of Future Past was dark, not just the movie,
Yeah.
the comic book, and yeah. So I guess us stupid humans finally win. I don't know.
Stupid humans.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Well
I
on
mean,
our way.
Magneto's
I mean,
Omega level, so
since this seems to be, well, that is true too. He is an Omega level mutant, but since we've seemed to be more divided in this and unsure of our stuff, I want to know what you guys think.
Agreed.
Let us know in the comments. We might have to revisit this one if we get enough feedback on it, because I feel like I can be convinced in either direction.
Agreed.